Welcome back to Daily DeFi. Today is Monday, May 24th of 2021. We're seeing a recovery in the overall markets. As we start out today, we're just seeing this nice little bounce off these lows, and a lot of altcoins in the decentralized finance space have recovered quite nicely. You see kind of these top guys in this market with Uniswap, the decentralized exchange, up about 40% on the daily. Chainlink, the top dog Oracle, is up about 35%. Aave, 32%. Maker, 73%. All these crazy pushbacks up. But you see they kind of overcorrected. So really what we're looking for after market crash is finding that bottom, finding that kind of balance equilibrium. Typically, price will consolidate a bit sideways. Then we will have a further drawdown, which we could see. It's definitely in the odds. Go watch my video yesterday talking about, is the crypto bull run over? You can watch that and understand basically that you should start thinking in terms of probabilities instead of certainty. So many people go, is the bull run over? Yes, no. They think in binary. That's black and white thinking. Remove that. Think in terms of probabilities when it comes to capital markets. And if you're curious about how to do this better and how to kind of take advantages of swings like this, if you're saying to yourself, these might look good today, but if you were holding up here and you didn't average out like I was talking about, I always talk about that in the tiered investment approach. How you should be averaging out consistently, just like you should be averaging in when we saw these corrections. That's what I was able to do. That's what a lot of people following along with the channel were able to do. Average into projects, average into quality projects that have real world use cases. Things like, things like synthetics, things like compound, Chainlink is incredible. All great projects that I've talked about. But today we're going to focus on Uniswap, Pancakeswap, and Yearn Finance, all doing very, very well, recovering nicely. Also, Binance Smart Chain-based decentralized finance platform. This is PancakeBunny, suffered a $3 million flash loan attack. We'll talk about that in a bit more detail. Basically, about how the interesting thing is, since Binance Chain is a little bit more centralized, there can be problems like this. But the main thing here is this is just all in the code. So if you know how to read code, you can actually, I think you can make a significant amount of money in this market, especially if you can help projects around issues like this. So, and then more news out of China. But first, DeFi Pulse and Juicy NFTs. So the total value locked in decentralized finance sits at $55.84 billion locked in, while Maker dominance is at 18%. DeFi Pulse Index is up 50% on the daily. I told you yesterday was a great day to average in. I mean, Sunday we had that drawback, and I'm like, man, this is the best buying opportunity ever. Literally, it's like, some people get all excited. I'm still here in the United States. I leave on Saturday for Tbilisi, Georgia, and it's interesting seeing family that I haven't seen in a long, long time because I've been overseas for a while. They're still focused, like still the older generation, like one of my grandparents. Coupon clips still. And it's like you're getting a 25% discount on something where they increase the price 30%. People don't understand this. You're coupon clipping, you're wasting time. And this is like a micro representation of this, but a macro way of capitalizing on really inefficiencies in the marketplace. When you see something of value, when you're a value investor, when you understand more Austrian economics, you can look at opportunities like this and go, wait a second. That's half off. That's literally, we had this major dip. I mean, it's not exactly half off, but literally, look, $84 billion here, just about a week ago? And right around $84 billion there as well. That's why I was kind of saying that. And now we're down at $49 billion. So not quite half off, but pretty dang close, So take a look at something like DeFi Pulse. Whenever we have a 50% drawdown, it's always on discount. Then remember, with DeFi Pulse, you're basically getting an index on all these top decentralized finance projects. So you have exposure to the upside there, while you don't have to bet on one individual horse winning the race as far as this space, because that's what everyone's speculating on is, will each of these projects, I think, out of each category will be the dominant player. So, for example, in the lending category, maybe it's Aave, maybe it's Compound, maybe it's Maker, but ideally they can work together. That's the focus of interoperability. So moving on to Juicy NFTs, the daily NFT volume sits at $65,000, down about 66% on the daily. Again, NFTs have kind of had a bit of the drawback. I still think what their use cases fundamentally will be used throughout the rest of really, I think, the future now, because we've identified this way to have true scarcity and basically have things on the blockchain that are perfectly verifiable. There's no way to counterfeit them. There's no really room for fraud when you're using non-fungible tokens, because you can use the blockchain to authenticate things. So there's no issues of, let's say getting a fake ticket to a basketball game or getting a fake collectible, because you basically have this identification platform online with a blockchain technology where you can do this with whatever non-fungible token you own. And remember, you can apply this to so many different things. I think this will be applied to real estate. I think this will be applied to deeds. I think this will be applied to patents, things like birth certificates, driver's license, all these different things will be on the blockchain. The problem that we have to work on is making sure that it's not one single government's blockchain, because then they can take control. If it's an open source blockchain, like let's say Cardano does this moving forward, or let's say Polkadot provides a platform that you can do this moving forward, I'd rather have it on something like that that's decentralized versus like a government blockchain, like the US blockchain or something like that, or China's blockchain. Speaking of China, Chinese Bitcoin miners look abroad amid government crackdown. So several Bitcoin mining operations have reportedly halted activity in China following the increased pressure on the cryptocurrency industry. In brief, Bitcoin Top, its first major Bitcoin mining operator to stop operations in China, citing regulatory risks. Other mining operations such as Huobi Pool and Hash Cow are taking measures as well, including halting cryptocurrency trading services. So, intensified pressure on the cryptocurrency industry in China has several crypto companies halting all or part of their operations within the country, with some already looking overseas. So BTC.top, the 10th largest Bitcoin mining pool, responsible for 1.7% of the network's global hash rate in the past 24 hours, has announced on Monday that it would move its operations mainly to North America. So that's pretty awesome. We are seeing this kind of move towards, really companies going where they're treated best. And I think that's one of those things Andrea Henderson over at Nomad Capitalist talks about, is you really should go where you're treated best. If Binance, for example, if they have physical operations in one country, maybe they should look at going to a place like Montenegro, or there's many countries that are kind of offering incentives for people to come and start businesses and grow from there. I'll be covering a lot more of these kind of opportunities of, really going where you're treated best in different countries. When I'm back over in Georgia, Ukraine, and Armenia, I'll be talking about banking opportunities. I'll be talking about different kind of ways you can integrate crypto with some banking things there, and some workarounds potentially from U.S. banking laws. But point here is PancakeBunny, this is kind of like an add-on to the Pancakeswap. I was talking about the Pancakeswap token. It was very, very cheap. It did a nice 40x gain. A ridiculous percentage gain. And from there, what we've seen is this drawback down to, I think it's around like $20 currently. It's in the top tokens here. It's crazy. It's 41. So so this market cap has drawn down significantly, but it's at about, it's over 50% discounted. Now it's up a lot. Same with Maker. But I think Maker is incredibly undervalued right now still. A lot of these are buy the dip opportunities. Now, ideally, you were buying yesterday. You're kind of missing this little bit of kind of averaging in opportunity if you're now currently buying, but we could see a further dip. So always factor that in. Point here, what I was trying to make is I identified PancakeSwap very early. I've never been a big fan of these things that just try and be like the second version of them. I always look for yin to yang investments, but the problem is when you have kind of these knockoff type things like Shiba or whatever to Dogecoin, it's like, man, no, especially when the use case, Dogecoin doesn't even have a use case. It's just a meme coin. So like when there's like a second version of these things, but especially with PancakeSwap is like risky enough. And then people go to this thing called PancakeBunny, and it's super risky. And one of the things you have to understand here is, if you're going to participate with something like this, I highly recommend you understand how to learn to read code, at least learn how to read things like GitHub, things like white papers, because then you can really understand how this will work, and you can see at the back end of what's going to go on, your risks involved. But the main thing to realize here is this is a flash loan attack. So whenever you're going to offer centralized finance services like loans in the decentralized finance space, you're going to have these kind of these bugs in the beginning. But relatively, we don't have a ton of bugs compared to the past bull run. So a lot of these decentralized finance applications are really, really working well and making people a lot of money, a lot of yield. And as we see kind of the shift from people going into physical banks in their local town, where look in your local town. I mean, the banks take up the prime real estate in the area. And think about it, you don't even need to go to a bank. A lot of people literally are just using decentralized finance Web3 applications instead of bank accounts. And I know, again, if you're talking to the older generation, they may go, oh, that's never going to happen. But think about it, when the people in Gen Z and the kind of younger side of the millennials, when they get in their 30s or 40s, so I'm technically in Generation Z. That might give an indication on my age, but so I'm not a millennial, but I'm the millennials, the generation before me. So I'm in this kind of generation that a lot of people don't understand what's going on. But you see these trends going on, and it's like, okay, now it's in the current state. We're in decentralized finance. We have this amount locked in. We peaked kind of at this $84 billion locked in. Think about it 10 years from now. I mean, this trend is only increasing. That's why I think people don't understand, when people are like, oh, invest in Bitcoin, invest in crypto. It's like, what's your time horizon? That's the main thing you should be looking at. And so that's what I say. Look at the banks. Just go in your town, go for a little drive if you have time this week, and look, okay, who owns the prime real estate? In all of those, pretty much all those businesses are getting replaced by decentralized finance. A large amount of them, insurance companies, things like lending, payday loans, these crappy companies, or these central banks. There's a massive problem here, guys. And the point is in the beginning of an industry, kind of this is why I consider crypto kind of an emerging market. Just like certain countries are emerging markets, because you have these kind of these similar aspects that no matter what goes through these cycles, they always have their glitches, they always have their bugs, they always have their dips. Nothing goes up in a straight line. It's always kind of jagged. So moving on from those articles, and the point is PancakeBunny basically had this flash loan attack. Flash loans are kind of automated, and there are ways to exploit them, but no funds were actually lost. Binance was able to recover all of it. So it's not really that big of a news story. I was just kind of using it as an example. And then you can see, all these coins have recovered today really, really nicely. This is an perfect opportunity to trade something like this. So trading altcoins, I might do actually a video today on trading altcoins. But we can see Uniswap here, $20.95. Remember, this was airdropped back here in September. I was able to get a large amount of tokens in this airdrop. It was literally, if you had used the exchange one time, any amount, you got airdropped Uniswap tokens. So go watch my video on how to identify airdrops early using this CoinMarketCap calendar thing. And you can kind of get ahead on airdrop, things like that. But yeah, so Uniswap's looking pretty nice. I think this will recover definitely back to these highs. Like I stated in my video yesterday, I do not think this bull run's over. We could do this kind of, we pumped, we dumped. Now what I'm going to assume is we're going to have this kind of short-term consolidation, or maybe even medium to long-term consolidation, kind of continuing this chart over here. And then that push up, similar here with most charts. You can see Pancakeswap, very different than PancakeBunny, is in about the same situation, except this fell down even further than Uniswap did. So it's right around this area of support right over here, but it bounced off that. So it bounced off this kind of key support we've had around that $9 level. You can see on the chart, we've had that multiple times, bounced off that. Now we're pushing back up to $17, whereas Yearn Finance, again, all similar charts you have to see, but great opportunities to trade altcoins in this market, whether you're longing or shorting. If you're curious, there's bonuses down below for some of the top trading altcoin applications. Like you can use things like Binance, you can use AAX, a lot of these different platforms. You can get a nice bonus by clicking the links down below. So the market cap of something like Uniswap is at 11 billion, while Pancakeswap is sitting, I think, around right around 2.8 billion. Lastly, Yearn Finance, YFI. This is a project that is still undervalued. This is an incredible project. It has a very, very small max supply. That's why the price is so high. People get thrown off by this. It's like, oh, wait a second. I'd rather buy something that is 1 cent. No. What matters is the circulating to max supply, because you can change this based on the circulating to max supply when you release a project. This is not what matters. What matters is you can own a certain percentage of the total pie, basically. You want to look at it, okay, what chunk of the pie do I get out of this if I'm tossing some money into Yearn Finance? And it's a great opportunity right now, in my opinion, to buy a little bit of a dip. Yes, it would have been better back when I was buying very, very early, but this is all about identifying projects early, getting in before the bull run. So, if you're watching now in the bull run, you are a little bit late. I do have to say that, but this is a great opportunity to potentially average in. Obviously not financial advice. You should take this in as educational purposes. Form your own opinion. Go watch the video, how to pull profits in altcoins, how to do your own research. And basically, I have another video called the Global Investment Framework, and it talks about all these different things. So go check that out. That's all for today's episode of Daily DeFi. If you enjoyed it, let me know in the comments. Like, subscribe, button all, invest global, and until next time.